Today's Shura was about transition. Transition is a process that we're using here in Afghanistan in order to help move the districts and the provinces. Process that ensures that they have elected officials, that they have a standing provincial community council that handles all the economic and business type items, that they have rule of law, they have a district governor, they have attorney generals, they have prosecutors, they have a jail, those kinds of things. So it's about 20 to 30 different things that each district has to eventually build up to and make them eligible for transition. And the transition goes into 4 stages. And the 4 stages are support. So for coalition forces, that means partnering with the security forces. It means support in regards to development projects, DFID from the UK, USAID from the United States, funding roads, bridges, and those kinds of things. And then it moves from support to mentoring. And in the mentoring phase, we have security leaders that go side by side with the Afghan leaders, and they mentor. And that mentoring is done at the security realm, it's done at the governance level, and it's also done in the development phase. And the last 2 stages is enable, and that's really where we start pulling back more of the forces, we start thinning things out, which will probably, in some of these districts that we talked about today, Nawa and Nadali in particular, around October or so, we'll start enabling, which means, you know, providing things that they don't have yet, but they need to build, like medevac capabilities, providing them fire support with aircraft, things like that, things that they still will take time to build. And then the last stage is sustain. That's probably the hardest part, because that means, you know, now they're on their own and they need to sustain all these capabilities. They need to sustain government. They need to sustain the rule of law, and they need to sustain being able to move their people around Afghanistan. It means having a medical capability to provide care for casualties. And so we go through all those stages, and when they finish, when they're at the sustainment phase, they're basically independent and sovereign. So today's meeting was about identifying and confirming that Nadali and Nawa, and we're also going to add Marja, are at the right stage to enter into the transition phase, transition process.
And do you feel as though today went well, sir?
You know, every day that we deal in these kinds of meetings with the Afghans, there's huge cultural differences. We like to get things done now. They like to think about it. And inshallah is not just you know, a Islamic term word. It's also a way of doing business. But the amazing thing is that even though it frustrates us, it teaches us a lot of patience. And for the Afghans, I think sometimes they even enjoy a little bit watching us sweat. You know, okay, are you ready? Are you ready to go? And you know, we think, you know, you got to have plans, you got to have briefings, and sometimes the Afghans can just do it on a dime, turn on a dime, and it all works out.
All right, and in your words, why are Shuras like today's important?
I mean, it's important because we can't make the decisions for them. We have to understand what their interests are, what their priorities are, and it has to be done their way. We could do it our way, but it won't work. You know, T.E. Lawrence many years ago made a statement that after living years with the Arabs, he said that, you know, it's better to allow the Arabs, and in this case the Afghans, to do things tolerably well than to do them perfectly, because it'll last. So we got to put the time in.
And then my last question, sir. With the Marine Corps, we're beginning to kind of draw down on the Helmand province, Afghanistan, so on and so forth. So how is it that this meeting, I guess, what is the future of meetings like this? Like, what will the Marine Corps' role be in the future with things like this?
Well, I think we'll always have the people, and at least until 2014, and really way beyond that. We'll always have the people to do the interaction with the Afghans so that we will understand what they need, what kind of resources are required to get to where they need to be. But yes, we are going down, but we're going down in numbers, really numbers that provide combat forces. We will provide enablers and mentors and trainers and advisors far beyond 2014. So the numbers we're losing are combat forces, but meetings like today and the interaction like today will probably last way out to 2020, probably. All right?